I don't know how these woodland creatures are gonna do with our audio. We've got some bug going like... Yeah, let me just say that I have a whole new appreciation for audio in literally any video medium that I watch. So thank you for your hard work, and shout out to Mikey from Overthrow for being my guru. You the man. What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here, and we are back with another installment of the Teebox Thoughts on a Tuesday. In this series, I want to teach you how I play disc golf by going through certain holes and explaining what I'm thinking about on every single shot. I've never claimed to be the best player in the world, but my hope is that by going through and explaining my thought process, you will be able to create a similar or even better thought process for your game while you're out there on the course. For episode 3, we are returning to John LeMaster Civitan Park in Trussville, Alabama. Hope you're ready for a wild ride because this one gets a little crazy. What is up? Welcome back. We are on lucky hole number 13, coming in at 307 feet. This has to be one of the most dangerous greens that you could find when it comes to its relation to out of bounds. Now, yes, this hole is also downhill, and when you look at the first 3 episodes of this, you may be thinking, Robbie, do you only play downhill holes to try to show off how big of an arm you have? No, in fact, I do not. And next week, we're gonna switch things up and go the opposite direction. So with lots of trees in our way, OB right next to the basket, what are we throwing here? First option is either gonna be a pig or a slammer. These discs are both overstable putt and approach discs, and when I'm pulling these out, I'm actually not even trying to play for a birdie on this one. I'm simply going to throw them out on a hyzer, let them crash into the middle of the fairway so that I can lay up to the basket. Because it's hole 13 and I know trouble exists elsewhere on the course, this option is my reminder that par is great and we can get back to a good state if we just start shooting par once again. But we wanna create some exciting content for you guys. So let's see what the other options are. You saw it last week and you're going to see it in plenty of videos going forward, but our second option is my understable mid-range, the bounty. For this option, I would throw a hyzer flip straight at the gut and try to get as close to the basket as possible, allowing myself a birdie look or opportunity as long as I don't hit any of the surrounding trees. I do have to keep in mind though that throwing this straight down the fairway does bring in pretty much every single tree that's on the fairway into play. Calling in our evader. The evader is a straight flying disc with an overstable finish, but in this hybrid run of plastic, it is even more overstable. In order for this line to succeed, I only have to do 2 things. I have to throw it out of a massive gap on the right side, and I just have to push it straight enough to pass one single tree. If I do those 2 things, this disc is overstable enough and reliable enough that I know it's going to fade back inbounds and land me right near the basket, if not giving me a guaranteed birdie. But like most things in life, it's easier said than done, so let's see if I can pull that off with this disc right here. So here's the thing about taking the line that we just decided to take, because honestly, I feel like we executed it pretty well. The errors where I can mess up are if I throw it too straight and I don't select a stable enough disc, then I'm guaranteed out of bounds. So it's definitely a super risky shot. Because I have practiced the shot and feel so good and comfortable with it, I actually feel better going farther and riskier than I do throwing a safer shot. And that's not always the case, but when you practice a line, it can sometimes pay off. And I'll tell you the scariest part about that shot is the fact that you have no idea what the result is until you get down here to the green. With that in mind, you can see the disc there in the ditch. It is inbounds, and I have about a 12-footer for my birdie. So let's see if we can can that and close this hole out. I definitely forgot to convey these thoughts on the last episode when it comes to my putting thoughts. It's fairly easy when you walk up to shots that are this short, getting a birdie, that the birdie actually becomes the focus rather than the throw or the putt. And so I just want to walk into this and be like, hey, it's a 12, it's a 15-footer that you've made plenty of times before. So let's not think about the results of what happens if you make this putt, because even when I do that, I'm saying if I make this putt. It's a 15-footer. You could literally do this with your eyes closed. So just bring it down, do your putting motion, put it in the middle of the chains. We can't let the fact that we might get a birdie throw us off of executing a line, picking what we did, and playing a hole really well, only to let bad thoughts ruin us on the putting green. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys next week. Back to you, future Robbie. Oh, I love that line so much. It is so fun ripping that fairway driver out over the OB and living in the thrill of hoping that it comes back in bounds. Bringing us to this week's takeaway. The easiest way for you to get better at certain lines is to practice them. I know that sounds incredibly obvious, but I wouldn't be so confident in throwing that line over the out of bounds if I hadn't have practiced it and thrown it so many times. I'm not telling you to play every single hole 100 times and rehearse all of those shots to perfection, because honestly to me that doesn't sound enjoyable or fun at all. But I know what it feels like to rip a solid backhand hyzer with that disc, and I'm going to try to find as many opportunities to use that shot as possible. So if you enjoyed that Evader or other discs that I showed in this video, feel free to head over to otbdiscs.com and use the code RCDiscGolf at checkout to earn yourself some free shipping and maybe find a new staple in your bag as well. I hope you have an absolutely amazing week full of super confident shots. But for now, I'm going to leave you with the birdie.